Hello, hello, hello. What's up? What's up? Hey, I was listening to this really cool this podcast that I follow. Her name is Lively, just Lively, and it's called The Lively Show. Looks like this. The Lively Show. Anyhow, she does a lot with like the law of attraction and ties it into our health and fitness a lot and sort of pushing through limiting beliefs. And she goes into like the science and the quantums behind it. So I find it really interesting because it's about attracting more to ourselves, more abundance, more happiness, more of what we desire, like all that stuff. But it's also grounded in some science-based research. And so I really find it interesting. I was listening to one today where she did an interview with James Dottie, and he has kind of a similar philosophy to her. So they were kind of riffing back and forth, and it was a really good one. And I took a screenshot of it to post on. There we go. Okay, yeah. Aaron Dottie. I'm sorry, I said James. Aaron Dottie. Law of Attraction, taking it to the next level with Aaron Dottie. So, I mean, it's like an hour-long episode, so it's really good. But one of my big takeaways that I thought could really help us all on this journey was kind of pushing through some limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves, and some of them could be stemming from childhood and what we believe about ourselves, whether we believe I'll always be overweight, I'll never have a flat stomach, my thighs are just not thin, I'm big boned, like whatever story that at one point we once were told or told ourselves are ingrained in there so deeply that it's really hard sometimes to push past them. And that can lead to a few things. It can lead to some self-sabotage, which I've talked about before, or it can just lead to kind of being like stuck or feeling stuck or stagnant in your journey because you are believing the story that this is the way I'm always going to be because this is the way I've always been and this is the only way I can be. And so we get stuck in some internal dialogue about moving forward in our journey, and it can cause us to slowly get off track, right? We're not feeling it, or we're kind of giving into some of these beliefs and we miss a workout, or we indulge too much in food or drink or whatever, and it starts to slowly snowball until we're pretty far from our the track that would lead us to our goal, whatever the goal is. And so it can be really hard to first identify that that's what's going on, and then second to correct it. And part of correcting it is going back to that narrative and figuring out what was the point that you started telling yourself this story, or who told you that you were big boned, or who made fun of your weight, or who led by example and didn't, thought these things about themselves and you took it on as your own dialogue. Like there's a lot of ways it could have happened. But going back to those times and proving them wrong, or just sort of releasing them, like acknowledging that is what started this track of thinking, and saying, okay, I now realize that this is untrue, and starting to move past it and writing the new story. And for some of us, it takes some journaling through it, some really like deeper journaling to figure out where it's all coming from, and really actually releasing it. And some of us, maybe it's more surfacing and it's easier to think about and change your thought pattern. So every time you're having a negative thought pattern, instead of beating yourself up about the negative thought, though, accept it, acknowledge the thought, acknowledge the negativity, what the feeling is, and then release it, move on, change the story, and say, I've acknowledged you, but you're no longer welcome in my life, right? But sort of there's some power in actually acknowledging the negative thoughts. But one of the real ways we can actually start to reprogram ourselves to be thinking more positively is not only to just live more time in the feeling that we want to feel. So if our story is I have no energy, I'm depressed, I'm lazy, if that's the story we're telling ourselves, then the opposite would be to live more in the feeling of feeling energetic, of feeling like I love to move my body, feeling like, I have purpose. And the more time you can spend feeling the positive emotions, the easier they come and the more often that they come. And it just starts to take time, though, to switch the story. And one of the, we spend our early childhood sort of forming beliefs about ourselves and about the world, right? And then as we get older and older, we start to experience things that kind of almost prove our initial thoughts correct. So we only spend a few times during the day in these, in that time, like mimicking that time beta when we were young, when we were sort of ingraining our subconscious to believe certain things. And we spend that time, we reach that beta time in our brain when we're falling asleep, like 10 to 20 minutes before falling asleep. Upon waking up, some of our first thoughts. And then if you meditate or visualize, and you can spend time in that beta where you can sort of more easily reprogram your subconscious. Right? You could probably think like, how many thoughts do you have in a day, and how many of them are negative versus positive versus productive versus derailing, like all that stuff, right? And you can try, like I said, to acknowledge that negative thought and change it, but that's a slower process. If you can spend time 10 minutes before you're falling asleep, 10 minutes before bed, really spending time in the place that you want to be, the space that you enjoy being. And it's not even like, it's even beyond like I am statements. Like those are powerful and important as well. Saying I am energetic, I am fit, I am healthy, like whatever it is. But feeling it, our subconscious really thrives on feeling. So we want to get ourselves to a space of actually feeling it during those 10 minutes. And it starts to really change your subconscious. So if you can visualize feeling energetic and tell yourself, I feel confident. It feels so good to be stable, and it feels so good to make, great decisions around food. It feels so good to work out every day. And if you start to, and there's deeper ones too about like confidence or self-esteem, anxiety, you could sort of, your subconscious controls a lot. And if you can start reprogramming it by feeling a different way in our most vulnerable times, you can start to change them faster. So that's going to be something that I'm focusing on, is really spending 10 minutes when I get to bed, just really changing how I'm thinking and what, so many times I go to bed like stressed and worried and recounting the day and what did I do wrong, what went right, like, right? And we're just kind of creating more anxiety or more negative thought patterns. So if we can change that and go to bed with, I feel energetic. Today was a great day. I feel so proud of X, Y, and Z. I feel so thankful for X, Y, and Z. I'm so grateful for this being in my life. And you change those thoughts to more positive thoughts and really focusing on how you feel. I feel so strong when I work out. I feel motivated, and just really emphasizing those feelings that you want to experience more of in your life. You're going to experience them more. And if you can do it when you wake up in the morning, for 5 or 10 minutes, you're going to even speed it up that much faster. Or if you could spend 5 to 10 minutes when you wake up in the morning, just journaling what you're grateful for, you're going to start your day off on a totally different note. So this was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I sort of wanted to get that out. Like there's a lot of positive changes that can come from just changing our thought process and changing our thought patterns, and it start to invite more goodness into our lives and more wealth. I mean, you could do this with your health and fitness. You can do it with your financial, attract more money, more goodness into your life, more positivity into your life by changing your thought patterns around that too. Like if you're someone who says, I'm always going to be broke, I just don't have enough money, I'm always broke, you're attracting, more negative energy to yourself, and you're going to stay in that place. So do the same thing. Start changing that thought process. Start changing that thought pattern to attracting wealth and goodness and abundance into your life. So let me know your takeaways from this. Was this helpful? Is this something you're going to work on for yourself? I would love to hear.